people in the kitchen when I'm cooking. You sound like a parent, just a guess. And now I am not a parent either, and honestly, I just don't like the social pressure of observation, whether I'm screwing up cue unwanted advice or nailing it cue distracting praise that I feel weird receiving, or even just idle chatter. I kinda just want to do my cooking alone and not have to feel guilty about it. Damn it. Everyone duck off. Same here, not a parent though. Guess I don't want people see if I make SDH wrong. They're always in the way. Always. Oh yeah. Other people aside from my kiddo and husband give me anxiety if they're watching. Lol. Everybody has their own way of doing things, but I'm not trying to hear about it. Yes, my husband likes to chat with me when I'm cooking, and he'll stand in front of the counter, fridge, or stove. Meanwhile, I'm frantically trying to put together a balanced dinner in a timely manner. Sometimes he'll apologize and say, "Sorry I'm in your way," and then move to another location that impedes my process. Eventually I told him, if you are in the kitchen, just assume that you are in my way. Anywhere in the kitchen, you're in my way. In fact, don't mess up my mojo, damn it. It's like my husband can read my mind as to what cabinet I need to get into next, and he walks right over to it before me and stands in the duck and way. LWYS. Hearing strangers breathe or chew humans existing causes me to be extremely annoyed. Dad, I'm famous. Do you love me now? Misophonia is a condition in which individuals experience intense anger and disgust when they are confronted with sounds made by other human beings. In particular, sounds like chewing, lip smacking, or breathing may cause intense anger and physical arousal. I was annoyed by your response and existence. Ugh, my girlfriend snores and it's the worst. I could be on the brink of being asleep, but if I hear that sound, then all bets are off. She doesn't even snore loudly either. It's just the sound itself. The sound of my ex chewing was disgusting to the point where I had to have music playing if she was having a snack or something next to me. Edit. My GF is a genuinely sweet and lovely person, and there's no one I'd rather have in my life. We have an uncanny amount in common. She's hilarious, and I love her to pieces. The sound of snoring is just a weird thing with me. Glad to see I'm not alone. Makes me feel more sane. I wouldn't say I hate it, but I do notice it a lot, especially on YouTube videos. If a channel has extra lip smacks, it can turn me off from viewing. Hearing anyone breathe. Oh yeah? I have this so bad when it comes to chewing sounds and utensils scraping against dishes. The scraping especially engages me so damn much. I will physically recoil and just instantly feel so ducking angry. I have to remind myself that it's my problem, not theirs, in order to prevent myself from lashing out at the offender. If it happens more than once, I literally have to get up and leave the room because it causes me so much discomfort. I wonder what causes it, because I wasn't always like this. Whispering does it for me. Billie Eilish's music is ducking unbearable. And I don't even think she's untalented or anything. I just can't bear to listen to that whispery sing-song thing she does. I also had to abandon the No Sleep podcast because one of the female narrators does this whispery voice when she's speaking as a young woman fraught with emotion. I can't handle it. It makes me want to throw things. I have it. I can't stand when someone chomps on gum or chews loudly with their mouth open or breathes heavily when eating. Need to leave the room. I used to live in a halfway house with 19 other women. There were multiple mouth breathers and loud chewers and hummers. I was in a state of constant annoyance of human noises. Just be glad blinking doesn't make a sound neutral, expressionless neutral. Woman who works in another department in my company but who happens to sit 10 feet away from me annoys me to the point that it's become a bitch eating crackers, a scenario where I'm irritated that she exists in the same room as me. She talks incessantly. It's gotten a tiny bit better in past 2 weeks, but sometimes I want to scream at her to shut TF up. Misophonia. My little brother chews through his food so that his teeth click together. To make matters worse, he also sucks his food and makes an asterisk T-touch sound with his chewing. It's honestly a miracle nobody has killed him, especially on conference calls. Mute your mics, people, and don't talk with your mouth full. You might have misophonia, a sensitivity to certain sounds, mostly eating, that bypasses your frontal cortex and goes straight into the stressor response. I have this, and it's incredibly frustrating. It's not fair to others because they are just trying to eat or whatever, and it's not fair to me because it's, at least in my view, not the same as just finding something annoying for actual reasons. It literally sends shivers of discomfort down my spine and begins to seriously infuriate me. Best solution I've come up with is to wear earbuds but not plug them in. Usually if I make the whole thing casual and just say something general like I like to wear these when we're eating, but I'm still listening to what you're saying or something, is typically good enough for most people. No, ASMR and mukbangs already aren't my thing, but ASMR mukbang is another level of hell. It gets even more annoying when you tell them you have misophonia, and they still do it loudly or around you when it's not even necessary, but maybe that's just my experience. Do you know how it feels like when you're sitting in a bus and you just want to listen and enjoy to music, but there is someone sitting next to you who tries to chat with you? That's annoying as duck. One time, I was on the bus listening to an audiobook. The woman who sat next to me was a chatty Cathy, who was having a 10-minute conversation with another passenger, making it hard to hear my book. Finally, she nudges me and says, you know, and that's when it dawns on me that she had been talking at me for the last 10 minutes. She had absolutely no idea that I was not part of the conversation. There is an open seat away from you, but they don't take it. Moving from the PNW to the Midwest, this was the biggest change for me. From having literally no one talk to you anywhere unless you knew them prior to having everyone want to talk to me, I'll be in the grocery store with earbuds in, hoodie up, sunglasses on, and people still tap my shoulder to ask if produce is good. I had one guy start talking to me about his GF leaving him, and if I have any idea why she would. It's hard to be mad at it because they are trying to be nice. But I just wasn't expecting it at first. Got pulled over by a statey doing 79 in a 60. Had me sit in his car while he ran my ID with my family waiting in the car. Well, being the Midwest, we started talking about crops, the current drought, and the price of soybeans. 15 minutes later, he let me go with a warning. So true. I was driving cross-country moving to California. Stopped in Omaha at a KFC, I think it was for lunch. Some stranger joined me at my table, and we chatted while I ate. Really surprised me. Didn't bother me though. Same trip further along on the other side of Nebraska, I was getting desperately low on gas, and there was nothing out there. Thankfully came upon a tiny little town out there where I could get gas. I pumped the gas, go in to pay, and the guy says, well. I said, well, what? He said, how much was it? I said, I don't know, let me go look. Went out and looked at the price, came and told him, and paid. Never had I come across that much trust before. I was stuck while pheasant hunting in 5 degrees weather, and a couple let me stay the night so another stranger could pull me out in the morning. They saved my life. I love the Midwest. I moved from London, UK to the Midwest and felt the same way. My small talk skills were rusty. Yeah. And BTW, that's the reason I like traveling alone more than with friends. Just want to be like Homer when the nuclear blast goes off, and he's the only one left just roaming around the city, going to theaters by himself, etc. I feel annoyed just reading that. I'm from Boston and had a similar experience when I went down to Texas a few years ago for a wedding. Everybody walking by at the restaurant and even out in public wanted to engage somehow, and it was weirding me out at first. I got used to it after a couple of days and actually began to almost like it, just in time to go back home, where if you did the same behavior you'd be stabbed. People liking things that they bullied me for liking before them. People are allowed to change their mind and mature, but it pisses me off. Whenever this happens to me, I just tell myself that I was ahead of my time. Lol. I was a huge K-pop fan back then. We had a field trip, and I was like showing a music video, which is bop BTW, to my friend. My teacher saw that and somewhat glared at me. Days had passed. She was like asking this question about a news that happened in 2000s. BTW, we were just kids in 2000s. No one knew the answer, and she suddenly ranted how this generation glorified different culture than ours, especially K-pop. She suddenly remembered me, and that's that. She humiliated me during class. After that incident, for the whole year, classmates nicknamed me K-pop. They treated me that I didn't know any songs other than K-pop. That destroyed me in gradually losing interest in K-pop. Funny thing is, the people who teased me that time became die-hard K-pop fans, and I don't now. Casual listener maybe. So I get how you feel. The exact same thing I tell myself. Tough to be the trendsetter. Always unappreciated in your time. D&D is mainstream now, and I was teased relentlessly back in day for playing it. These little sticks got it easy. That is the most sane thing here. That teacher sounds racist as hell. No cuss same. My cousin used to bully me for reading Harry Potter books and listening to music such as Mother Mother, but now that it's more popular, she suddenly liked those things all along, and I'm crazy for saying she didn't. D&D is mainstream now cause all the kids playing it grew up and started YouTube channels where they kept playing it. What annoys me is when people still do it. When they dismiss things as old, and then 20 years goes by and nostalgia is great. Everything modern sucks, but God forbid a show be black and white. When people say I dunno, it looks old, I want to say so will you in 20 years. You want the next generation to give your classics a chance, don't you? I love Mother Mother. I think the MCU and the like are the ultimate example of this. As a kid, liking comic book characters made you weird and kind of a loser. Now every bro out there talks about how cool their favorite Avenger is or how The Dark Knight is the best movie ever. Especially since us visionaries are generally not popular. It's what I like to call you weird down in the trenches like the rest of us syndrome. I was into telling myself that, like forever ago. It's a little bit of vindication. You knew it was cool before a lot of other people, and now they realize you were right. Obviously, it's unlikely they are ever going to say that, but there's still some satisfaction at seeing people grow and come around. Streets ahead. I was a hipster before it was cool. I'm so ahead of my time, my parents haven't met yet. Samu. People going at a normal pace when you're in a hurry. Like following an NPC walking through a town but your character only has a jog animation. This is such a spot on description. People pulling out humongous trolleys in the middle of a walkway backwards while not paying attention because they are just having a casual normal day and don't know you're in a rush or anywhere near them. The lack of awareness annoys me, but as soon as I want to yell move, I realize that on any other day I just go around them. But even when you're in a hurry, I just naturally walk faster than most people, and it annoys me when people are walking 2 or 3 abreast and I have to practically walk on the curb to get past. Or someone is walking just slightly slower than you, so you either need to slow down or walk comically fast to get past them. People with trolleys that stop mid-aisle to chat and block the whole aisle annoy me greatly too. Oh, that's a good one.